My stepfather confessed to murder when I was 9. Last week, I found out what actually happened. My stepfather killed my biological father when I was 9. He confessed, went to prison, and life moved on. That was 13 years ago. But then last week, I got a call. You need to come to the station, now. The detective's voice was flat. The case has been reopened. We need to talk to you and your mother. An hour later, I was sitting in a cold gray room under fluorescent lights. My mom sat beside me, just as confused. The detective dropped a file on the metal table. The forensics don't match, she said. The wound angle, the force required. None of it lines up with your stepfather. I stared at her. He confessed. Confessions aren't evidence. She leaned in. Someone else was in that room that night. My mom grabbed my hand. Neither of us could speak. The detective spread the crime scene photos across the table. I hadn't seen them since I was a kid. Maybe never. The images were brutal. A kitchen I used to eat breakfast in, covered in blood. Walk me through that night, she said to me. What do you remember? I remembered bits and pieces. My biological father showing up drunk, screaming and breaking vases onto the floor. A piece of glass cut my toe. My mom telling me to go to my room. I hid, I said. I heard yelling. Then it went quiet. Then my stepfather was there and the police came. That was all I'd ever known. The detective nodded slowly. Your stepfather arrived after the incident. Phone records confirm he was 20 minutes away when the 911 call came in. My stomach dropped. My mom stiffened beside me. So he wasn't even there when it happened? I asked. No, he arrived after. The detective pulled out another document, which means someone else was in that kitchen. The room felt smaller. She looked at my mom. Mrs. Davis, you told police you were in the bedroom when your ex-husband broke in, that you didn't see what happened. My mom's voice was barely a whisper. That's right, but the blood spatter suggests whoever did this was standing near the stove, right where you told officers you were cooking dinner before he arrived. My heart stopped. I looked at my mom. She was trembling. I didn't, she started. I couldn't have. The wound was a downward strike, the detective continued, from someone shorter than your ex-husband. You're 5'3". It fits. The accusation hung in the air. Mom? My voice cracked. She was crying now. I don't know. I don't remember. Everything happened so fast. The detective let the silence hang. Then she pulled out one more sheet. Here's the problem, though. The force of the wound doesn't match someone your size either, Mrs. Davis. Adrenaline can explain a lot, but not this. She placed the paper in front of us. A diagram, height measurements, angles. The strike came from someone between 4 and 5 feet tall. A child's height. My height, at 9 years old. My mom looked at the paper, then at me. I felt something cold crawl up my spine. I was 9, I heard myself say. I was in my room. The detective didn't blink. Were you, though? The question hung in the air. I wanted to answer. I wanted to say yes. But when I reached for the memory, there was nothing. Just black. A hole where the memory should be. I don't remember. My mom's grip on my hand tightened so hard it hurt. The detective leaned back in her chair. I'm going to be honest with you both. I've reviewed every piece of evidence. I've read every statement. I've gone through the forensics 3 times. She closed the folder. I know who was in that kitchen. I know who killed him. My throat closed. I just wanted to see if either of you could be honest with me. The detective slid one final photo across the table. A shard of glass in an evidence bag. This was found embedded in the wound. Not a knife. Glass. From the vase that shattered when your father broke in. My body went cold. The same glass that cut your foot. She looked at me. Your mother was unconscious on the floor. Your father had knocked her out. She didn't see what happened after. My mom choked. What? You never told her? The detective raised an eyebrow. Your son didn't hide in his room. He watched his father beat you unconscious. He thought you were dead. The walls were closing in. A 9-year-old boy picked up a piece of glass and protected his mother the only way he knew how. I was shaking. Your stepfather arrived minutes later. Found your mother waking up, confused. Found you catatonic in the corner and made a decision. She closed the folder. He washed the blood off your hands, held the glass himself to leave prints, and confessed to a crime a child committed in self-defense. But why would he lie for me? The detective exhaled. He told us he's not my blood, but he's my son, and I wasn't letting him grow up with this.